other person's notes for.
You alright there?
No, probably not. I've been told to wear a hoodie I don't own.
You gotta rep the match.
I'm worrying that I haven't got enough notes and I somehow don't have a video game shirt, but I do have a Pokemon hat. It's a bit all over the place, I'll be honest with you. Ah, you thought it'd be the year 13s, but it is us, the year 12s!
We've taken over.
Now for nerdier stuff than usual.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah. Should probably introduce ourselves.
Yep. Harry, Phoenix.
Yep.
So, what are we starting with?
I'd say Super Mario Bros. From like 1993.
Okay. The old, very old Uncanny Valley.
Yeah. I mean, like, the look of it alone, it's just completely different to what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Because, like, you'd think, oh, it's all cheery and cartoon, but it's, like, all dystopian.
Dystopian, very different.
Very different.
Tone, not what Nintendo expect.
They don't even look like the actual characters. Like, if you look up Bowser from the movie, it's literally just a guy.
It's not a big, scary Jack Black dragon.
No. Can't wait to see that, though.
It's going to be interesting, it's going to be new.
Yeah.
And it's going to be funny, like Jack Black, anything.
The voice fits perfectly.
Somehow.
But yeah, like the entire movie, it like grossed 200 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was only half of what was spent to make it. So definitely that was a fail, that.
If even Avatar 2 can get, well, they match what they spent.
I've seen that film.
Haven't yet, but going to soon.
You watched it for my brother's birthday.
Nice. So,
It's
the
very
Goombas
cool.
themselves are probably the main thing people are going to know from the original
Yeah,
Mario movie.
they're something. Definitely something.
They're more like Bowser. To my image, they look more what you think Bowser was. They're big, scaly, 9-foot men
Yeah.
with teeth.
Yeah.
So what? It's
It is what it is. I mean, it was in the 1990s, so they didn't have like all the technology we have now when it comes to animation and everything. You can clearly see that in the new one that they've been releasing all the trailers for.
made by Illumination.
Yeah, big
Which-
minion.
I'm not going to express my opinions on the studio, but they're doing a very good job with this. I think one very good example, their recent trailer, most recent, very good viral marketing.
Yep.
It's meant to look like an old, very low quality, independent business trailer.
Yeah, and they do a homage to one of the earlier Mario shows because they use the rap from one of those original shows as well.
And the voice of Princess Toadstool,
Yeah.
which old-time fans are going to notice. They're going to take that in, they're going to acknowledge it, and they're going to appreciate it.
I mean, from all the trailers they put out, tons of like intertextuality to different games from it. They'll definitely bring a lot of nostalgia to people.
Yeah.
Especially with all the different power-ups and stuff that's been like leaked in the, like just shown in the trailers.
Like you look at, get the notes, you look at the trailer with Donkey Kong, they've got flat 2D stage that they're fighting on, similar to Smash Bros. Not Mario, but it's got Mario in. And then the actual stadium itself is meant to look like Donkey Kong's original arcade game with all the
Yeah, the old
scaffolding,
one with
the
barrels
girders,
and
the red
everything.
girders, the barrels. And that's going to trigger a loyal fan base. That's going to trigger their nostalgia. It's great. I'm fun. I didn't even play the original.
And even with like the trailer as well, for some of the characters, they've like added to them, but in like a really positive way. Like a really good example is Princess Peach. Normally, like traditional Propian princess, you need to save her in all the games. But from the scenes where she's shown in the trailers, she's literally going through a girl boss moment. She literally.
Lovely phrasing. Yeah.
No, she's being strong. She's being independent, like full-on ruler to like the kingdom and
Very
everything.
ignorant towards Mulvey.
Yep.
It's refreshing, but they haven't gone the full Marvel, Captain Marvel, so independent she's now one of the strongest characters and gets...
They've done it in like a
flack for it.
realistic sort of way.
In a way that people can, female viewers can take personal identity from that. That's, in a way, a role model for younger kids, I'd say.
You'll love a bit of personal identity in films. Probably one of the best things, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think one, maybe not quite personal identity, but one that was forged from personal relationship is Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong. For years now, people on like YouTube and stuff have made animations, randomly put his voice over Donkey Kong, and it is really funny, and it's even better that they've actually got him to voice him. I don't think anyone expected that. No one expected Jack Black as Bowser. That's random.
I mean, I didn't expect it, but when you hear him in the trailer, it fits perfectly.
It works.
It's just amazing.
Maybe less so the "now you die" thing, but it works.
And then obviously you've got Charlie Day as Luigi as well, which the voice, it fits perfectly. Like if you've seen like the second trailer when they had that sort of almost interrogation scene, and let me tell you, from that scene, the internet went crazy because a lot of people shipped Bowser and Luigi. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's certainly got very loyal fandom behind it, who are going to be expecting a lot, and if Illumination don't deliver, it will not be very, very, very good.
I mean, one example where studio almost failed, like on the whole thing, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I mean, the original trailer, that design was too human.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't good.
It's almost like same energy as the Mr. Mime from Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
They've got hair textures. I don't like it.
It's not
just
good.
so smooth. It's smooth, but like it's.
I think Detective Pikachu did good and did bad. I've been a fan from Pokemon since 2012, and I've played most of the games. I'm familiar with a lot of the material. Some of them I think they adapted well. You've got simple ones like Jigglypuff. I don't know how you would fail that. It's a pink fluffy ball. Others like Charizard, I don't like it, their scales are too shiny. But Mr. Mime, he's creepy in the games, he's even creepier now.
I feel like they purposefully upped it to like 11 with the creepiness though to sort of prove that fact, because not a lot of people are fans of Mr. Mime.
I can't tell if it's intentional.
It's just the aesthetic of it, it's just unnerving. And I mean with the scene that he's in as well, the interrogation thing, unnerving as well.
One thing we might have to ask our floor manager.
Yeah, what do you think about it, about that scene?
Good chat. Okay.
Fair dues.
Righto. So what next then? Moving on? Or?
Maybe more on Sonic?
Fair enough. Back to Sonic.
I mean...
So they were a lot like that Mr. Mime, very creepy, but not intentionally, I think.
Yeah. But then when like all the comments came on about the appearance of like being too human and that, they changed it and it made it a lot better.
I respect that decision. A lot of studios are very headstrong. They won't change ideas.
I also respect the inclusion of Sonic because you wouldn't think it in the film, even if it's just a short like image of it.
Clip, yeah.
It was really funny to see it in there.
You see random meme off the corners of the internet, similar to Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong, appearing in a $1 million film.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that the Ugandan Knuckles meme would end up showing up in the second one because Knuckles is in it, but turns out it didn't.
No, but if it would, then the interaction you get from a community, just most of them finding it very funny. I mean, it's going to lead to be blunt, personal relationships. Just that community and laughter they're all going to find funny.
I mean, from all the games that they've had adaptations for, there's always been that much of an audience that it makes sense to turn them into like films and that. And if you do it right, easy money.
Easy money. Even if they don't do well, they're still going to get some money from people either who've gone in expecting it to be good or have actually somehow found it good.
And you don't even need to go fully creative with the story either. You could just go with what the games do. And then boom. And obviously there's merch as well.
Similar to Durham Sixth Form Centre.
Yeah.
I mean, here's merch right here. Pokemon hat. I've had this since I was like 9. From the TV show, Ash Ketchum's hat. That's an example. We've got Foxy, FNAF.
FNAF 1.
We've got Cupheads.
Got a little Cuphead pop figure there.
It's everywhere. Games are probably more prevalent even than films for merchandise, and they know that. So then if you put them together, good God.
Yeah. There's like just tons of different things as well. And I mean, with some films, you have obviously the intellectual property, like you'd have to get the license for it, which is why like some films, they don't have the property, they can't really do it.
Wreck-It Ralph. Very short example from last week's episode. They had Sonic, they couldn't get Mario.
Yeah.
Hey, we're referencing last week's episode. Working we've got.
Intertextuality from the intertextuality episode. Who would have thought?
This is meta. So
Very.
Yeah, I think an example. Is there any examples of synergy? Would you say? Because that's got to be really big with a video game thing. I mean, to be fair, Mario.
Kind of thing.
The fact they're bringing back. I mean, I think for a Mario game, I would more so expect just Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Bowser. They're bringing in Bowser, bringing in Donkey Kong as well, who isn't always attached to it.
And they have like references to all the different ones as well. Like obviously, the training stage in one of the trailers, it reminds me of Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Then obviously there's the iconic Mario Kart bit as well with the Rainbow
on Rainbow Road with all the different vehicles. I think even one detail someone noticed, Donkey Kong's car has these rocket barrels from a random Donkey Kong game. They're putting effort in there, and it's gonna, even if you don't get the references, the people who do, they're gonna find it that much more entertaining.
It's like little Easter eggs.
That's why the synergy's gonna work.
Yeah.
It's great.
You love seeing those little bits. It's really great.
It's when you can tell they've paid attention. It goes a long way, to be fair.
I mean, obviously, there aren't just like films for video games. You've also got TV shows as well. I mean, a really good one, really popular one that's on Netflix, Arcane.
I've seen one episode and it is genuinely brilliant. It came out 2019.
2021 actually.
You
were close.
I'm old. And to be fair, I'm going to get on to why I haven't watched it for a while later. But genuinely, really, really good.
Yeah.
It's 9-episode series based off League of Legends.
A game I haven't really played.
No, I know about it and I generally don't like it. But this show is brilliant because it's not related. Alternate timeline, alternate universe allows for so much more creativity and freedom with it.
I mean, I've seen the whole thing and it's really good. It has made me consider getting League of Legends just from watching it.
It's
characters and everything. Amazing.
Characters which are borrowed from the game, but not the same. You've got the two main characters, Vi and Powder, who are Violet in League of Legends and Jinx in League of Legends. And it shows
they're my favourite in the show, not gonna lie.
They're good, they're really good. It shows them younger, I'm guessing it shows their progression to a similar state in what they are in games?
Yeah, it does show, obviously the beginning bit shows more of when they're younger. It does progress a bit, a couple years, to, I'm guessing, where they are in the game. Right. Obviously, I wouldn't exactly know.
Yeah, but you don't really need that information because it's a new story.
Yeah, and they've got their own way of world building as well. It's really great.
I mean, each of them are different and unique. Like, Vi is a female character, but very
headstrong.
Very headstrong, and that makes her very non-stereotypical. She's very, I don't have the words, contradictive. she's contradicting like Mulvey's male gaze because she's very headstrong. She's leading the group very countertypically. She's the one pushing the action forward, and she won't be afraid to get in a fist fight.
She does actually push quite a bit of it, like later on in the series, because like I've seen the whole thing. It's pretty good.
And then Powder, she's younger, she's more, I would say, stereotypical, because she's a female, younger girl. In the first episode especially, she's just very young, I would guess, maybe 12 or something. And she's having to depend on them. But she's different to her sister because she's using more brains than brawn.
Yeah.
I would almost compare her to Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Like she scavenges, she puts these things together, makes homemade bombs. Probably shouldn't do that when you're 12, I'll admit.
Yeah, not the best thing to do.
No, but it's great and it's good.
Yeah.
They're very different characters in their own ways, but I think Vi being very countertypical, Powder being a bit more stereotypical, it works because it's not just conforming to the pre-laid Medhurst as well.
Yeah, and there's also like the whole art style with it as well. They clearly show binary opposition with it, with like Topside being all colourful and stuff, and the Undercity being all like dark and decrepit, and then a good example of like character binary opposition for like old and younger ones. It's later on. I don't know if they're shown in episode 1, but oh god, I can't even remember his name.
Main villain, Red Eye.
Yeah.
Right.
He's obviously shown as a lot older, and then you've got Powder or Jinx, a lot more like brighter with the hair and with all like the tech as well that she makes.
And they're more impoverished, they're younger, and it's going against these richer, older generations. So it's kind of very binary opposites there.
Yeah, it's a huge
leaning
thing.
Strauss, if anything.
Yeah, huge
especially
thing
with
of
the
binary
difference
opposition.
you mentioned before in art styles of Topside being very, very vibrant, very white, very clean, and the bottom being very grimy, dirty.
We'll have included a bit of Strauss.
Yeah.
Love a bit of Strauss.
He's good.
Yeah. And then you've also got, that's not the only TV show that Netflix has had. They do have a lot of video game TV shows. Obviously the Sonic Prime, but one that I love talking about, Cuphead show.
Go ahead.
Absolute favourite show on there. I've like rewatched it multiple times.
I think it's so good. I think like Arcane and like another one coming to Cyberpunk, they've taken their time with it. They haven't rushed it out because they've replicated the art style of the game, which itself has replicated like cartoons in the 1930s, which is
1930s rubber hose.
Really, really unique. This
they even
hand-drawn
modernised
animation
it
style.
too.
Yeah.
With like adding the digital stuff as well. It's a really good ultimate selling point as well for Netflix to have all these different video game shows too.
Yeah. I mean, each one is unique in itself, and then the fact that Netflix is the only one you can go to watch them. Yeah. Very big USP up their sleeve.
Very big one. I mean, some of the voices as well. Like, there used to be comic dubs that people made from, like, the original game. Everyone would have, like, my favourite example, Calamaria. Everyone used to voice her in almost an Ariel, like, princessy sort of mermaid voice. But in the show, she has a full-on Russian accent and done by, like, Natasha It's hard to pronounce the last name, but I absolutely love her as an actor because she plays Naja in What We Do in the Shadows. Huge thing for star power for me, having her in it.
It's very, very countertypical, but in a way it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Like it works.
It works so well. And the song she sings in the episode she's in, beautiful.
It's
absolutely beautiful.
1930s, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
What next?
I mean, you said yourself, followed up with Cyberpunk.
All right then, Cyberpunk.
This is more your alley.
Other main video game adaptation show. Cyberpunk, very controversial game.
Very, very glitchy.
Released very glitchy, very buggy. Was not very high quality for the amount of production time. Netflix made a show for it, and I don't think anyone expected it to be as good as it was. They got really reputable animation studio Trigger, and they expanded on it so much, with very few characters crossing over from from the game. They had one character who's like the very, very big villain, very cool name, Adam Smasher. He sounds
I mean,
brilliant character.
that sounds like a
Brilliant character.
definite. That sounds like a villain name.
And in the game, he's led up to, and essentially he's disappointing of, bang bang, man's dead. But in the game, in the show, he's so intimidating. He pops in out of nowhere, kills the entire main cast, spoiler warning, and
Damn.
he's just so improved upon by how menacing he is, going from being talked about as a threat to just being a threat.
I mean, with
I
the
would
whole
argue.
thing of cyberpunk being really controversial, why don't we ask our floor manager, what do you think of cyberpunk? Oh,
That's
that might be a bit of an issue.
a problem.
Technical difficulties.
Well,
Well, anyway,
technical difficulties, folks. Don't worry.
moving on.
I would argue it's even an act of, I am hoping I'm using this word right because I'll look like a massive idiot otherwise, apophrodies.
Oh,
It's
what?
taking this character and property and making him even better than it was before.
I mean,
I
I've
hope
never
I'm
heard of
using
that
it
word
right.
before.
Mr. Rose's face does not give me confidence.
I mean, I wouldn't
It was on
know.
mine to study.
I've never heard that word before.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
God, I hope I watched the right wider study video. Okay, another topic. Moving on.
I mean, obviously we've been talking about films that have came out, but there are a few that are coming out, and some of them it has been a long time coming.
Yeah,
A-
long production time.
A really good
Hopefully
example
be fruitful.
is the upcoming FNAF movie. I mean, this thing has been in the process since 2015, and we're in 2023 now.
That's a while.
In case people are watching this in the future. Hello, future people. But it used to be under Warner Brothers at the beginning.
Mhm.
Then they switched the studio to Blumhouse in 2017, which I mean, it fits more with the horror vibe.
Right.
But it sort of gives the question for one of the films that Warner Brothers gave out in that period was Willy's Wonderland, which
Yeah.
similar vibes.
If you don't know about FNAF, I'm not really the person to ask, but FNAF is essentially killer robots go around doing killer robot things and killing people.
And the
and
lore
Wally's-
behind it.
Willy's Wonderland was killer robots going around doing killer robot things and killing people.
Killy mascot robots at a pizzeria type place. I mean, if you do anything similar to that, people are gonna think that's Freddy Fazbear. But
Or Foxy.
or Foxy,
Like, he's sat here. He's harmless. He's not doing much yet.
he's harmless.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been so many changes with it. The director's changed 3 times. They've finally figured out who to have for it. Emma Tammy, which I've never heard before, but I feel like she'll bring a really good
maybe that's not
spin
about
to it.
them. Never having heard of someone. But
Yeah.
this does absolutely sound like development hell. It sounds a definition.
Yeah. What do you
Um,
think? Oh. He's gone.
New radio or
Probably need a new radio.
unless
I mean,
Foxy got him while we weren't watching.
oh god, I hope not.
Mm.
A little scared for you now. You're sitting close to him. But yeah, the multiple script rewrites as well. It's just so much stuff has changed because big old Scott Cawthon, he wants this to be perfect.
Yeah, I respect that. He's developed this series for
Years.
I don't want to
absolute
know
years.
how long, but
It's hard to
he's-
remember what year it is, but I'm pretty sure the game series is around about 10 years old now,
I mean,
which
how
makes
many
me feel
games?
old.
Over 5
How
games,
many
I know.
games? Over 5. 5 is rookie numbers. We're
7?
hitting maybe 11 at this point.
11 games, God knows how many books, and the film hasn't yet been released.
I've got majority of the books. I'm a very loyal fan, so I've been waiting for this for ages. But a cool thing with the animatronics, because obviously you'd think, oh, CGI, but they're actually being made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Getting a big name in there.
Jim Henson. That puppets and stuff about as star power as you can go.
And then obviously, it's a free title deal as well, because one of the actors, Matthew Lillard, who's playing the purple guy, said it was a free title deal, so very excited on that. But I should probably stop myself from rambling on, because I'll end up talking for hours about
now,
FNAF.
After mentioning star power, let's end with the real stars of the show.
Yeah.
Our camera operators. We definitely didn't forget to have a joke about that at the start. Probably.
Got too caught up on the video games and being nerds.
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch!
See you, Space Cowboy.